Hi there, flat towers. Today we're going to be taking a look at Blue Ox's Adventurer tow bar. This is an entry-level tow bar and one of the most economical tow bars here at etrailer.com. So if you're just getting started flat towing and you're not looking to not break the bank, to just start getting your feet wet and experiencing how much nicer it is than using a tow dolly or something, this is a great entry level to get you in the door and going. It doesn't have any of the frills or fancy features as some of the other tow bars, but it will get the job done. It is a non-self-aligning tow bar. So many other tow bars, they are self-aligning. With this one, you are going to have to pull your vehicle up, align it as best as possible. You can see here that our arms are adjustable as far as our width is concerned, so it will work with many different base plates. The slots here allow the arms to pivot to match the particular base plate you have on your vehicle. The ones up here, it also pivots around these bolts, so you want to make sure you loosen all four, make your adjustments, and then tighten all four back down. Now once you do have it tightened down, it's pretty much set for your vehicle, and you really don't ever have to mess with this again as long as you're using the same vehicle. I just recommend that you hook it up to the vehicle side first, and that way you can just bring it down and latch onto your coupler. If you were to go with the coupler side first, you will likely have difficulties getting attached to the base plate because the arms don't extend. So you could potentially loosen these back up, but that's a lot of extra work. So we'll stay with this side first, then motorhome side second. Now this is a binding tow bar. There's no extending or retracting arms like you've seen on a lot of other tow bars. There's no mechanisms to release them. They're just kind of always locked in. Now that being said, it is going to be more difficult than the non-binding tow bars to remove. There is some slop in this setup. So when we go over to our coupler here where it attaches at the end, the coupler does have a little bit of play and pivot in it. So it's not going to be quite as bad as a traditional tow bar that is binding, but it is still going to be more difficult than your regular non-binding ones. You'll notice this most when you're on uneven terrain because the little arms here can pivot and bind up in there, and the pins can be very difficult to remove then. You may or may not need a mallet then just to knock them out. And while we're here looking at our ends, one thing you will notice when we're hooked up to our Blue Ox base plate is that it just has a single tab, and it's not the traditional Blue Ox 3-lug connection that they have. And that's because this is a lower rated tow bar with only a maximum of 5,000 pounds. So this single tab is going to be plenty for that. So if the 5,000 pounds isn't quite enough for the vehicle that you're wanting to flat tow, and it's a medium-sized vehicle, then I would recommend a more traditional style tow bar, such as the Blue Ox Alpha. That's going to have a maximum of 6,000 pounds. But for you heavy-duty truck guys out there that are wanting to bring along those bigger trucks, Blue Ox's Avail is going to give you a maximum of 10,000 pounds, but is also a traditional style. So if you want to stick with this style, where it attaches to a ball, Blue Ox does have the Acclaim, which offers a lot more fancy features. It does still have a maximum of 5,000 pounds, but offers self-aligning arms that are adjustable as well as non-binding arms, so it's much easier to disconnect as well as get hooked up to your vehicle. And it also has a storage position that can attach it to the front of your vehicle. With our Adventurer here, once you're done using it, unfortunately this one does not have a storage position, so you'll just have to disconnect it and either store it inside your motorhome, your garage at home, or inside your vehicle. And just like your traditional tow bars, you do want to be towing as level as possible. A good rule of thumb with traditional tow bars is plus or minus 3 inches from where your base plate attachment point is to where the center of your hitch is here. And we want to pretty much follow those same guidelines here, but again, we want to be as level as possible. And it's a little bit easier and cheaper to achieve that with this tow bar because you probably already have drops and rises with 2-inch balls that you're using for your trailers and other things laying around. With the traditional style, you need to get a special drop and rise that provides you with another 2-inch receiver for those traditional tow bars to go in. So you get a little bit more dual use out of this style with those drops and rises. In addition to your tow bar, you will need some additional components to flat tow your vehicle and keep you legal in all states. You'll also need your safety cables, which you can get here at etrailer.com. We've got plenty available from Blue Ox. If you did opt for one of the other tow bars besides the Adventurer that we talked about from Blue Ox, those do come with safety cables, but this being an entry-level model, it does not. But you'll also need your base plate on your vehicle, which provides the attachment point on your vehicle for your tow bar to connect to. You'll need your supplemental braking system, which will apply the brakes in your vehicle when you hit the brakes in your motorhome, as well as your diode wiring, which will take all the lighting signals in your motorhome and transfer them to the lights here at the back of your vehicle. And this tow bar is not limited to your traditional motor home and vehicle setups. Our customer Michael wrote in where he's using his 68 Dodge to pull his 98 Volkswagen, and this is the option that he chose, and he absolutely loved it and wrote in and told us all about it. Now, flat towing is not your only option to bring your vehicle behind your motor home. Your other options is to use a flatbed to bring your vehicle on, which works with any vehicle, so that's great, but the issue with a flatbed is you got to find some place to store it when you're not using it. Another option that's much smaller than a flatbed is a tow dolly, but those only work with certain vehicles, and you still have the issue of where you're going to put it. Even though it's much smaller than a flatbed, it still takes up quite a bit of space. And a tow dolly and a flatbed trailer, they tow for the most part just like trailers, so you got to take extra wide turns. There are some tow dollies that do have turning wheels on them to help them track behind your motorhome better, but none of them track quite as well as a flat tow setup does. So now we're going to take it out on our test course. And you can see here when we go over the bumps, we've got a nice solid connection, and we can feel it in our motorhome here that we're pulling it behind us. Now we're making our turn, and you can see that our vehicle's tracking behind us just like it would for the most part with any other tow bar. So we finished our test course drive and we're heading back, and I gotta say, I was quite surprised at how well this felt driving behind the vehicle. It felt just like every other Blue Ox tow bar that we've towed, and I expected with the arms to not be self-aligning and things like that, that we would feel a difference, but it feels just the same. Once you've got it hooked up to your ball here, there is a small little pin that is pre-attached with a chain on the side, and this just slides through the hole here and ensures that our coupler can't come unlatched when we're driving down the road. One thing that I like about this is that if you don't want to use the pin that comes included with it, you can get a locking pin here at etrailer.com to protect your investment and ensure nobody goes away with your tow bar. Because let's face it, somebody could come over with a 2-inch ball, unhook, and just drive off with your vehicle. So we can go ahead and lock that up to keep us safe. Additionally, we have locking pins available here at etrailer.com for the other side of our tow bar to ensure that our vehicle and tow bar don't come separated. Now, when you are ready to attach your tow bar, I found it was easier to attach it to the vehicle first. And another thing I like about this tow bar compared to a lot of the traditional ones, this one is significantly lighter because we don't have any moving components and things like that. So it is a lot easier to hook up. So we can go ahead and slide these in. Once you've got them slid between our tabs here, we can then slide the pin in. You may have to give it a little bit of a lift up slightly. And then we can lock it in place on the other side. We'll then do the same thing over here on the other side. And then we can just lower it down right onto our ball. Once we've got it lowered on there, latch it in place, and then insert your pin or your lock if you purchase that separately. Now, the only part here that really is tricky is when you go to drop it down here on the ball. You do need to be lined up properly for it to fit. And I honestly recommend to have a little extra set of hands with you there, because you could have somebody holding the tow bar up, checking the fit, and another person could be inside, moving the vehicle forward or backwards slightly. And now with the rest of our flat tow components hooked up, we're ready to hit the road. And that completes our look at Blue Ox's Adventurer tow bar.